These Crusaders of Archbishop Stepinac have become a dominant force in the New York Catholic League. Stepinac makes its 5th straight final appearance, and the Crusaders are looking for their 2nd straight title. They'll take on a Cardinal Hayes team that has played them tough earlier this season and last year in the semifinals as well. This is News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. The AAA championship game as the Cardinals of Cardinal Hayes take on the Crusaders of Archbishop Stepinac. And today's Catholic League AAA championship game is brought to you by Sloman Shield. Shield your home with the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Hello again, everyone. Lou Brogno with you on the call alongside David Resnick at windy, very chilly Mitchell Field here on Long Island. Tremendous matchup, though, for the 2018 Catholic League AAA Championship, Stepinac against Cardinal Hayes. And, David, these two teams met earlier this year. It was just a 3-point victory for the Crusaders.
It's been a great series, especially come playoff time, as Cardinal Hayes and Stepinac are meeting in the postseason for the 5th straight year. 3 of those occurrences in the AAA final. And Lou, if you look back to mid-season, and if you were to make your predictions, who would be playing in this championship game? At that point, Cardinal Hayes had started the year off 0-2. Stepinac was in the middle of a 4-game losing streak, and here today, they play for a title after turning their season around.
Well, this Cardinal Hayes team, very talented offensively. They have several players who can burn you, and one of those players is Jalen Smith, who can hit you both on the ground and also receiving as well.
Jalen Smith throughout the season primarily used as a receiver, and a dynamic one at that. But in the semifinals, an upset road victory for Cardinal Hayes at St. Anthony's, Jalen Smith became an out-of-the-backfield runner. He can do it in both facets and will play a major piece to the puzzle for Cardinal Hayes offensively.
On the other side for Stepinac, they feature one of the top running backs in the tri-state area. Malik Grant has amassed nearly 1,300 yards rushing this year.
And coming off of a CHSFL record, 405 yards in a victory on the road against arch rival Iona Prep. He was hampered earlier this season with a high ankle sprain. There was question as to his health as the season progressed. He is healthy and rip-roaring and ready to go, fresh off of 400-plus yards in the semifinals.
So the scene is set for what should be an outstanding AAA championship game. Archbishop Stepinac taking on Cardinal Hayes, and the opening kickoff just moments away here on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Welcome back to Mitchell Field here on Long Island for this AAA championship game. Lou Brogno, David Resnick, and the third member of our broadcast team, of course, is Amanda Puglisi, who's down on the sidelines. Amanda.
Well, Lou, it was only a few weeks ago that Stepinac beat Cardinal Hayes 23-20, as you and David were just talking about. Now, if you talk to Coach O'Neill, he's going to preach to you how important it is for them to play Cardinal Hayes football, and that's playing fast, physical, and smart. And he'll be the first one to tell you that we did not play smart in that first game against Stepinac. And at times, he says, we are our own worst enemy, and we need to play smarter tonight. Now, part of the struggle there was that Coach O'Donnell's team really was able to get to Masood. They applied the pressure, and Coach O'Donnell knows how good and dynamic the quarterback can be for Cardinal Hayes, so they're going to look to keep him under control again tonight.
And Stepinac kicking off from left to right on your screen. The Crusaders in their home blue uniforms trimmed with red, the red helmets, and of course Cardinal Hayes and the road whites trimmed with the Cardinal helmets and the Cardinal red numerals. And it's a short kick that is fielded at the 30-yard line, but then stepping out of bounds at the 31. And that's where Cardinal Hayes will put it in play. The Cardinals coming in at 4-4 on the year, but they started the season losing 3 of their first 4. So they have really come on at the tail end of the season. And look at the road to the championship. And you can see there Stepinac and Cardinal Hayes going through some tough games to get here. Cardinal Hayes winning big, 33-9. And then 26-25, the big win in the rain last week against St. Anthony's.
And it's interesting to see a matchup between the 3rd seed and the 5th seed playing in the championship game, especially after both of these teams picked up road victories against the top 2 seeds in the semifinals. These teams met in the final week of the regular season. Stepinac beat Cardinal Hayes. That is why, essentially, the Crusaders vaulted to the 3rd seed, and they're wearing the home jerseys today.
On a 2nd down and 8, the Cardinals throw the football. Sofian Massoud, their outstanding quarterback, 6'2 junior, 175 pounds last year, a first-team All-State performer. Has 5 Division I offers already. We'll go through them a little bit later on. Tremendous talent. He can run the football. He can throw it very effectively as well. And here he's facing a 3rd down and 8. The Cardinals trying to avoid going 3 and out on their first offensive series. Here's the pitch coming wide, a big hole, and this will be first down yardage and much more. Across the 50-yard line into Stepinac territory goes Jalen Smith with a big run.
The Cardinals can't surprise Stepinac with Smith out of the backfield because he was so effective in this role last week against St. Anthony's. However, Stepinac has never really faced Smith live as a primary or at least secondary runner along with Brown Allen.
On a first down play, this is Massoud who carries the football, keeps it himself across the 35-yard line. He's got 5 touchdowns rushing. Had a big game against Stepinac earlier this year, 254 yards, 3 touchdowns, over 1,600 yards through the air. Hands it off tackle on the right side this time on a 2nd down and 2. A short pickup on the play, and they're going to be about a buck short, I think, for that first down. It should bring up a 3rd down. 3rd and 1 for the Cardinals. Just underway here in the first quarter in the Catholic League AAA championship game. Massoud flips it outside, catch made, and that'll be enough for first down yardage across the 30-yard line to Fari Mason on the reception. So it's a first down for Cardinal Hayes, and they are going with a no-huddle offense right here, very quickly up to the line of scrimmage. Twin receivers go to the right side. Smith goes in motion, and the handoff goes up the middle to Jeremy Brown Allen. Outstanding running back as well. So many weapons on this Cardinal Hayes team. Jeremy Brown Allen, 134 carries, 727 yards coming in. He averages 6 yards a pop.
Coming off of a 100-yard rushing game against St. Anthony's. And he has the versatility to be split out wide and then have Smith in the backfield.
2nd down and 8 for Cardinal Hayes, and a handoff again. It's Smith this time, weaving and twisting his way inside the 25 down to the 22. Jalen Smith running the football the last couple of weeks, but he put up some big numbers as a receiver earlier this year as well. 626 yards receiving, 7 touchdown receptions.
Cardinals have already converted 2 third downs this series.
3rd down 4. Massoud looking, now takes off, finds some room, and rips it inside the 10 down to the 5-yard line.
A 16-yard scramble on 3rd and short. Stepinac did a pretty good job of containing Sofian Massoud in the regular season matchup, but he's got the ability to scramble and make big plays.
1st and goal for the Cardinals. Here's Smith trying to turn the corner. He cuts it in, dives towards the pylon, and he is short, I believe.
Stefan Romero on the edge making the hit for Stepinac. And despite that contact, Smith still had the progression to get down to the 1.
So it is 2nd and goal at the 1. And they give up the middle this time. Touchdown, Cardinal Hayes. Jeremy Brown Allen dives in from the 2-yard line. And the Cardinals are on the board first. An impressive drive for Hayes as they take the opening kickoff and drive down the field. They'll try to tack on the extra point here. 8 minutes, 16 seconds remaining. And the kick is up. It is no good. Wide to the right. So Hayes does not convert on the extra point attempt, but they do have a 6-0 lead.
Jeremy Brown Allen with the touchdown for Cardinal Hayes, just straight up the middle behind this line. Daniel Valentin on that right side, along with the center, Edgar Roman. A 69-yard drive for Cardinal Hayes, taking up better than 3 minutes of clock. And what a statement for the Cardinals, converting 3 times on third down. Jalen Smith, the big play on the first third down to the near side, getting the Cardinals into Stepinac territory and really changing the dynamic of the opening possession.
C.J. O'Neill in his 16th season. He's been the athletic director at Cardinal Hayes since 2002 as Mount St. Michael's grad. Done a tremendous job with this program. Let's see if Archbishop Stepinac now has an answer. The Crusaders down 6-0, but very early. Just about 4 minutes into this first quarter.
Part of the success for Stepinac, especially in their turnaround, is playing from in front. They got up early against Iona Prep in the semifinals. In the regular season game against Cardinal Hayes, they scored first, had a halftime lead, had a 2-score lead into the fourth quarter before Cardinal Hayes made it a 3-point game late in the quarter. So the Crusaders, over the course of this 5-year run, making it to the title game each season and winning in 3 of the previous 4 attempts, they do have the history of coming from behind. Last year they were down 2 touchdowns against St. Anthony's, but for this group and this recent run, they've played from ahead.
It's a short kick that bounces at the 30-yard line, picked up there at the 25. That was Jaden Jenkins who picked it up there for Stepinac, and the Crusaders will put it in play there. Stepinac coming in 6-4 on the year. They've reeled off 5 straight victories. Their quarterback is their junior Joey Carino, who's had a good year, 57% completion percentage, over 1,700 yards through the air, and 19 touchdown passes.
Perhaps most impressive for Joey Carino during this 5-game winning streak, 11 touchdowns, just 1 interception.
And he rolls out right side on the run, delivers a beautiful throw by Carino as he hits Sean Harris on the reception. And Harris, a tremendous receiver, 4th-team All-State performer. That's his 50th catch of the year.
That's good for 24 yards, and part of the evolution this season for Stepinac, not only the maturation of Joey Carino, but the increased use and production of Sean Harris.
Harris nearly 1,000 yards receiving on the season, and the give is up the middle. In between the tackles goes Malik Grant. And if you were not with us earlier, we talked about Grant. What a year, David. 135 carries, 1,284 yards, averages almost 10 yards per pop, had almost 400 yards against Iona Prep, a school record 392. And they swing it outside. Sean Harris is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. And a terrific defensive play for Cardinal Hayes. Coming in to make the play for the Cardinals is Gerald Munoz.
The swing out to Harris. And anytime you're able to take him down in the backfield, That makes a huge difference as Stepinac is now behind the sticks on 3rd and long.
3rd down and 12. Football sits at the 47. Carino back to throw. Plenty of pressure here for the Cardinals. Carino gets away, breaks a tackle, puts his head down, takes it across the 50-yard line, but he will be well short of first down yardage.
You know, Lou, speaking of Malik Grant, he left the field last week against Iona Prep thinking that he had 392, but on the review of the film, they found a few extra yards, like you would find a few extra votes, and he ended up with 405 yards, school record, CHSFL record, and 405 sounds a lot better than 392 anyway.
Yeah, I think he'll take that. 4th down. And Stepinac's offense is still out there in Cardinal Hayes territory. Now, Carino backs off a little bit, but he sends Harris in motion, and he's going to kick it. He boots it down inside the 10, and it bounces into the end zone for a touchback.
Very close to being a tremendous play as Nick Furio was running furiously down the field to try and catch up with it. Sean Harris getting a free release, trying his best as well to get down there and trying to keep the ball out of the end zone.
The Catholic League AAA championship game. Glad you could join us here on News 12 Varsity. And also want to thank all those who are joining us on Facebook Live as well. Send us your thoughts on the game via Facebook Live. .5:48 remaining in the first. Cardinal Hayes up 6-0. The Cardinals with a tremendous drive, and they punched it into the end zone. Here's their second possession of the game, and big yardage again up the middle for Jalen Smith.
You know, we spoke with C.J. O'Neill and asked him about Smith and his addition into the backfield as a straight runner, and C.J. O'Neill said it was all about balance and season management. Smith is shifty but not so big. If he took a pounding running the ball up the middle throughout the season, that probably would not have been the best use of that type of utility.
Jeremy Brown Allen on that carry picks up short yardage, and it brings up short yardage on 3rd down for the Cardinals. 3rd down and 1, and the football at the 29-yard line. A little bit of movement on the defensive line, but not across the line of scrimmage. And now Hayes resets offensively. Twin receivers split out left side, and the handoff goes to Jeremy Brown Allen around the right side, and he should have enough to pick up Hayes' first down.
Chris Bethea, the right tackle, helping to lead the way for Jeremy Brown Allen. And Cardinal Hayes doesn't need to substitute. With the flexibility of both Brown Allen and Smith, they can keep the same 5 skill position players out there.
Now trips go to the left, and Massoud flips it out to the right side and up the sideline. A good gainer on first down, and the Cardinals continue to move the football effectively. Actually, that was Jeremy Brown Allen on that reception.
That was good for 8 yards right up the sideline. So after being split out wide right, Jeremy Brown Allen now sets up as the only running back behind Massoud.
It is 2nd down at about 2.5, if you will. Football's right at the 40-yard line. And now whistles blow. This looks like a timeout called by Cardinal Hayes. So Hayes calls time with 4:23 remaining here in the first quarter, and they have a 6-0 lead. Well, we mentioned Cardinal Hayes coming in at 4-4. They got off to a rough start this year. They lost 3 of their first 4, but then rebounded beautifully with a victory over Chaminade. And then the loss to Stepinac. They have 2 wins in a row, of course, over Farrell and St. Anthony's to get to this championship game.
They got off to a slow start, and they got off to a late start. They had a bye, and one of their early opponents forfeit and did not play, so they start the year in what was CHSFL Week 3, playing Iona Prep, where they fell by just 3 points, one of 3 losses by a field goal or less. And they were playing their first game, and for a team that traditionally starts slow, not playing the first 2 weeks didn't help.
Second down and a long 2. Masood now steps back, now takes off. On the run, he delivers outside. The catch made across the 50-yard line. And there is the escapability of Masood as he hits Mike Escobar, one of the leading receivers in the Catholic League, coming in with 32 catches on the year.
Something that needed to change for Sofian Masood was to have that internal clock. If something's not there right away, scramble and go. He was sacked 9 times in the regular season game, partly because he just stood in the pocket and took a beating.
Not much on that handoff up the middle as Stepinac played it nicely. Just a short pickup of 1 yard on the carry. Brendan Wilkins in on the tackle for the Crusaders.
And the Stepinac pressure is so good that we haven't seen Cardinal Hayes really try to take any shots down the field quite yet.
On a 2nd and 9, the handoff goes over right tackle this time. It's Jeremy Brown-Allen. But Stepinac playing the run well on those first 2 plays there. And now it brings up a 3rd and long for the Cardinals.
And when you can go short and allow your playmakers to turn it into a long gain, there's very little reason to want to have your quarterback sit in the pocket.
3rd and 7, Masood delivers a bullet outside, the catch made at the 35-yard line. Tafari Mason on the reception, and a beautiful strike by Sofian Masood.
Great job by Mason understanding where he was on the field. He ran the route a couple of yards beyond the sticks, caught it, and turned upfield to pick up the first down.
1st and 10, and they give to Jeremy Brown-Allen, who dives forward near the 30-yard line.
It's very rare to see a Stepinac defense get gashed. And right now, Cardinal Hayes picking up 4, 5, 10, 12 yards at a time. These are extended possessions. This one started back at the Cardinal Hayes 20.
2nd down at about 6. And another nice hole on the left side as Brown-Allen takes it across the 30.
Dougie Simmons there for the tackle. And even when Stepinac has given up points, thinking about the way they've played Iona Prep a couple times this year, the Gales go for big plays over the top with Derek Robertson to his particular targets. Very rarely do you see a team get chunk yardage against this Stepinac defense.
3rd and 5 for the Cardinals. Masood takes it himself on a quarterback draw and weaves his way down near the 25. He will be short of the first down.
Going to go tempo here, Lou, and get right back to the line of scrimmage facing a 4th and 1.
And the Cardinals come right up to that line of scrimmage on a big play here to keep the drive alive. 4th and 1, 1 setback behind Masood. And a give up the middle to Jeremy Brown-Allen. He should have enough for the first down. Had to get just inside the 25, and he burrows his way down to the 24.
An underrated factor about making the championship game is that the chain gang today is made up of officials. So it's a group that can go a little bit faster than normal, and for Cardinal Hayes playing up-tempo, no huddle, they can move even that much faster.
1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Masood fires, has a man wide open inside the 20-yard line. Catch made by Jalen Smith.
The motion of Brown-Allen out of the backfield into the flat allows Jalen Smith to just step up into that void and pick up 8 yards.
2nd down 2. Cardinals banging on the door. Already up by 6. Here's Masood, takes off and cuts it inside the 15, but now a flag is thrown at the tail end of the play.
Offensive backfield, this could be against the Cardinals. Although the official is looking
It is holding against Cardinal Hayes, and that's a drive killer.
It's been the only thing so far, Lou, that's really slowed down the Cardinal Hayes offense as they've really picked up positive play on, or positive yardage on every snap.
That moves the ball back to the 25-yard line.
C.J. O'Neal, good for a couple of one-liners as well.
Second down and 11. And coming wide is Smith. He's got plenty of room. Smith, with that burst of speed, takes it inside the 15 and down to the 11. That'll be good for a first down.
If you need to see signs whether or not a team buys in, you know who the lead blocker on that play was? Jeremy Brown Allen, the feature back. Not getting the ball in that instance, but doing his job to create the path for Jalen Smith.
Twin receivers left side. Masood gives to Jeremy Brown Allen, who crashes down inside the 10. And we're down to 10 seconds left in a briskly played first quarter. A first quarter dominated by Cardinal Hayes. And that should be the last play of quarter number one. And indeed it is. And a tremendous first quarter of play by the Cardinals, who scored on their first drive and now have driven inside the 10. Our score after one, Cardinal Hayes 6, Stepinac nothing on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week.
5 straight years that Stepinac and Cardinal Hayes have met in the postseason. The last time it was in the championship game was back in 2016. Picking things up midway through the third, Hayes leads by 1. They extend the lead with Elijah Jones taking it 77 yards for a touchdown. Jonathan Gomez runs it in for Stepinac to make it a 2-point game. And then Shameen Jones takes it 29 yards over the goal line from Christian Anderson, 41-33. Michael Nicosia down the field to Sean Harris. Whatever happened to that guy? 41-39, looking for the 2-point conversion. Some guy named Sofian Masood breaks it up in the end zone. He was a freshman for Cardinal Hayes 2 years ago. Today, he's the leading quarterback as a junior for Cardinal Hayes.
And Cardinal Hayes banging on the door for more points here, up 6-0 as the second quarter begins. Masood fires, end zone, touchdown, Cardinal Hayes. Jalen Smith on the touchdown reception, and the Cardinals go up by 2 scores.
That Masood guy, he's still around, making a play defensively in the championship game as a freshman. Here, 2 years later as a junior, he's got Cardinal Hayes out to a 12-0 lead.
And the Cardinals are going to line up for 2. Remember, they missed the extra point on their first touchdown. Now they'll go for the 2-point conversion. And the give is to Jeremy Brown Allen, who stumbles heading towards the end zone. He does not get in. And so the 2-point conversion unsuccessful. But the Cardinals are up by 2 scores, and they lead it 12-0.
80-yard drive. And Sofian Masood keeping this play alive, stepping up, and a wide-open Jalen Smith as the secondary for Stepinac creeped up to play the run. Major factor back. Jalen Smith out of the backfield or as a receiver. As we've played, Lou, 6 seconds or 7 seconds into the second quarter, Cardinal Hayes has a 2-touchdown lead. They are out gaining Stepinac 149-13.
And you are watching the New York Catholic League AAA championship game, which is brought to you by Sloan & Shield. Shield your home with the Sloan & Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
That was nearly a 6-minute drive, over 80 yards for Cardinal Hayes. The total yardage for Stepinac is actually 18, shortchanged them a little bit. But it speaks to the larger point that Cardinal Hayes has had 2 possessions, they've scored twice, and they've done so with a ball control offense.
So the Cardinals kick it off. Stepinac fields at the 30-yard line, and the Crusaders will have possession out near the 35. So Stepinac in somewhat of an unfamiliar position. They are trailing by 2 scores here early in the second quarter. It's a team that comes in on a 5-game winning streak, a team that defeated Cardinal Hayes back on October 28th by the score of 23-20.
Unfamiliar, definitely, Lou, during this run, but as mentioned, championship game last year, they went down 2 touchdowns to St. Anthony's before storming back. Big difference, though, Trill Williams played today at Yankee Stadium for Syracuse. He's not in uniform today for Stepinac.
1st and 10, and the give is to Grant, who breaks 1 tackle, but then is brought down. Could not get away from the second defender. So an outstanding play as Kion Pearsall came in to make the stop. 2nd down and 10.
Malik Grant was so dominant a week ago that if you keep him from picking up a 1st down, you keep him under 10 yards on any carry, it feels like a massive victory.
Here's Carino looking to throw. Now he's going to pull it down. Gets around the corner and takes it out of bounds across the 40-yard line. Joey Carino scrambling away from the pressure. Joey Carino, honor roll student at Stepinac. Outstanding lacrosse player as well. He's done a tremendous job at quarterback this year. Only a junior. He's got Sean Harris in motion, and the handoff, not much, as Cardinal Hayes plays that run tough. Malik Grant runs into a red and white wall at the line of scrimmage.
Joel Atwahaney leading the charge there from the linebacker spot. You know, Stepinac in that regular season game, they won, but they were outgained 315 to 238.
So big play here, 4th down and 1 at the 42-yard line.
Carino punted last time out of this formation, and he is backing up.
That's kind of what he did the last time he punted it away. He backs up about 3 steps, and he will kick it away. It's a short kick that goes out of bounds. Actually, it stays in. It was kind of weird. Kind of a weird play right there. The ball kind of bounced like it was going to go out of bounds, and it just stopped.
That's what you do with your pitching wedge on the approach, right?
C.J. O'Neal got a kick out of it. He had a big smile on his face. So, Cardinal Hayes takes over, and they have dominated this first half, not only offensively, but Stepinac has not been able to move the ball against this Hayes defense at all.
Couple possessions, couple of punts. They only have that one big play from scrimmage, the 24-yard gainer to Sean Harris. Otherwise, this Cardinal Hayes defense.
Hayes with a 1st down and 10. And Masood keeps it himself. He cuts outside, hits the corner, takes it down the sidelines, and across the 40-yard line. Sofian Masood with another big play, and there's a penalty flag down, though, all the way back in the Cardinal Hayes backfield. And this looks like it will be holding against the Cardinals. So as they back the Cardinals up, let's check in with Amanda.
Well, Lou, as you can imagine, the Stepinac defensive coaching staff not happy with the way that their team has been playing, telling their defense, we're sleeping out there. We have given Cardinal Hayes 12 points. That quarterback over there, Masood, he does not seem to be scared of us. We need to do a better job of getting off the ball, telling his interior that they need to be a little bit more aggressive, and they need to really go after Masood and make him uncomfortable.
Well, the defense gets some help here with that holding penalty as it pushes the ball all the way back to the 24-yard line. It is 1st down and 20 for Cardinal Hayes. Twin receivers right side, but Masood looking left. In fact, he goes to Jalen Smith, but pass a little bit short and knocked away by that Stepinac deep coverage. Looked like Mickey Green, the man who got his hand on it.
Zach Barnes was there as well, and Makai Green, having him focus solely on defense has helped turn things around. And the man in the middle, Joe Garbowski, Amanda mentioned the push from the interior, a 2-year starter at defensive tackle. A lot of what the Crusaders do along the line is predicated on the play of Joe Garbowski.
Nice play by Green as he breaks up that long pass. 2nd down and 20. And Masood coming back the other way on a screen pass, completely blown up as Tafari Mason gets clubbed behind the line of scrimmage. And a beautiful play there by Romero coming in to make the play. Stefan Romero.
Setting up the tunnel screen to Mason on the throwback. It was incomplete. Helped out by the big hit by Stefan Romero, who has found himself a nice role as a cornerback for Stepinac.
Now 3rd and 20 for the Cardinals.
Sowing pressure on the edge.
And whistles blow the play dead, and a timeout called, I believe, by Cardinal Hayes. So timeout with 9 minutes and 39 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. And the Cardinals on top by the score of 12-0.
You know, Lou, we mentioned how since Cardinal Hayes has been up in the AAA, they won a AA championship in 2013, and then from 14 to the present, these teams have faced each other in the playoffs. And Stepinac getting the best of Cardinal Hayes over the previous 4 meetings. But it's amazing to think where these programs were even a decade ago. Both of them in the AA, and now they've been fixtures in the AAA. This matchup, Stepinac Cardinal Hayes, has represented 3 out of the last 4 championship games.
3rd down upcoming here for the Cardinals. 3rd and 20. They have to get to the 43-yard line to pick up a 1st down. And here's a halfback option play, and the catch is made across the 45-yard line. Tamares, that's Anel Tamares on the catch, his 31st of the season. And the Cardinals go to the playbook on a big 3rd and 20.
Jalen Smith, such a dangerous option on the pitch. And he's got the option to toss it down the field, and Tamares comes down with a huge play.
So new life for this Cardinal offense now on a 1st down play. They go down to the 45-yard line on a 2-yard run, and it brings up a 2nd down and 8.
Jalen Smith at this point is just contributing in every possible phase, whether he's a runner, whether he's a pass catcher, whether he's a quarterback thrower for C.J. O'Neal. They're coming in with this underdog, we've got nothing to lose attitude, and they are playing loose in this first half.
And Smith carries the ball this time and takes it inside the 45.
And it's so amazing, Lou, listening to coaches, because they come up with unbelievable ways to somehow make you believe that their team is the underdog. Mike O'Donnell of Stepinac saying, well, Cardinal Hayes preseason was the #1 rated team in our league. We think they're the better team. C.J. O'Neal saying, we're definitely not contenders. Nobody thought of us that way. And so yet you have this game with 2 underdogs matching up against each other.
Here is a big play defensively for Stepinac. Oh, Kevin Gray, who last year led the team with 122 tackles, has his 5th tackle for a loss this season.
We might look back on that play if things turn around for Stepinac and say that is where the game changed. Shed a block, meet the backfield before he gets to the hole, and drill him down. Stepinac needed a stop in the worst way, especially giving up that trick play for a 1st down, and now they're poised to get it back.
And they'll punt it away on 4th down. This one off the side of the foot, and it goes out at the 40-yard line. Just an 8-yard punt from scrimmage. and Stepinac will have good field position here to begin this drive. 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining second quarter. A trail by the score of 12-0.
Crusaders have just one first down to this point. They have about 30 total yards compared to the long 2 touchdown drives by Cardinal Hayes.
Big hole for Grant. Malik Grant breaks into the secondary, still on his feet, and takes it across the 30-yard line.
Cardinal Hayes acting as if the ball is loose.
And there's a fumble at the end of the play, recovered by Cardinal Hayes. So a heartbreaking play for Stepinac. That was their best play from scrimmage without question.
Malik Grant fighting for those extra yards.
Yeah.
And just coming from behind, it was slapped away. Abdoulaye Diallo knocked it away, and Malik Grant had picked up better than 30 yards on that run, and then just losing it at the end.
So the Cardinals get it back. 1st and 10 at their own 27. Massoud gets away from the pressure. Now on the run, fires, and it's incomplete.
But this is the takeaway from the Grant run, Lou, and this is something that you have to remember if you're Cardinal Hayes. Yes, you're up by 2 scores, but Stepinac is so explosive offensively that despite looking lifeless, really, for a quarter and a half, you hand the ball off to Grant, he can go for 40-plus yards. He had 4 runs of at least 40 yards a week ago upon racking up 405. And so for Cardinal Hayes, keep the pressure on, look to score here, expand this lead to 3 touchdowns.
2nd and 10. Twin receivers split left and right for the Cardinals. And Massoud looks to throw. Now gets away from pressure again. This time he's going to run it and just steps out of bounds across the 30-yard line.
Sacked 9 times in the regular season game. You could see the clock is ticking for Massoud. 1 read, 2 reads, and he's out. The big play, Lou, that they have through the air came on a halfback option. It really hasn't been with a deep drop from Massoud. And so he's understanding that Garbowski is coming around the edge. Dougie Simmons, who has nearly 30 sacks in his 2-year varsity career, they're coming. He's got to escape.
3rd down play. 3rd and about 7 for the Cardinals. Massoud looking to throw, fires, beautiful throw over the middle to Jalen Smith, who picks up big yardage after the catch across the 50-yard line into Stepinac territory.
23 yards on the pickup, and what a job by Massoud to recognize the matchup. That's Smith on a defensive end. Advantage Cardinal Hayes as Jalen Smith takes it across midfield.
A bullet by Massoud. What a rocket. 1st and 10, and the give coming wide was Tafari Mason, and he slides back maybe to the line of scrimmage.
We know about the academic smarts of Sofian Massoud. He's in what is called the Cardinal and Gold program at Cardinal Hayes, the toppest of the highest level in terms of academic honors program, but just the intelligence on the field. You take that athletic ability and it brings it to the next level when he's starting to identify matchups and places to throw the football.
2nd down and 10, and he gives again to Jalen Smith, who dives across the 45 down to the 43. And Massoud, you talked about that intelligence. He has 5 Division I offers: Boston College, Virginia, Rutgers, Temple, and Dartmouth out of the Ivy League. Also getting interest from the likes of Michigan and Notre Dame. I think that's just the beginning, by the way, for Massoud, who's only a junior. On the run, he turns the corner, a little bit of a stiff arm to try to pick up some extra yardage, and that stiff arm might have enabled him to get enough yardage to pick up a 1st down. Let's see where they mark this. He's very close. Maybe about a half a yard short.
And if Masood is willing to play a different position other than quarterback, Lou, that'll really open up his recruiting as well. Not saying he is, and not saying that he couldn't compete at that position at the next level, but you're looking at a special athlete right here.
4th and 1. He looks to the sideline to get the play. Cardinal Hayes already up by 2 scores, and a timeout called by the Cardinals. So they stop the clock with 5:43 remaining in the second quarter here in this Catholic League AAA championship game. Cardinal Hayes getting to this final, defeating Monsignor Farrell 33-9. And then, of course, in the driving, pouring rain, upended St. Anthony's 26-25.
Here's something that's interesting about Cardinal Hayes. They're the only program to win championships at all 3 levels. And the A title in 81 and 90, the titles in 81, titles singular, that was when there was just 2 levels. And then in 98 and 05, that's when there were 3 classifications. But C.J. O'Neill has seen this team 05 in A, 2013 AA, 2 years ago 2016 AAA. He's taken the program from the bottom level, and now he's made them in a perennial contender at the AAA. The evolution of the program and the way that Cardinal Hayes has become a power has been incredible over the last 16 years.
4th down and 1 for the Cardinals, and Masood keeps it himself, dives ahead, and's got the first down. Inside the 35-yard line. Took 1 step back, saw a little bit of an opening between left tackle, and took off.
Kazi Mendez, the left guard, Edgar Roman. It's the subtlety of the step back you mentioned, Lou, and then just a design quarterback draw up the middle.
1st and 10 at the 34. Masood looking to throw, fires outside. Again, he's on the money. Mason makes the catch and dives ahead across the 25-yard line.
Yards after catch was a thing of beauty. Tafari Mason could have stepped out of bounds and called it a play. Instead, keeping his feet, spinning, churning, trying to slip his way up the sideline, and picks up 9.
2nd down and about 2. And the handoff goes right up the middle. Jeremy Brown Allen running between the tackles. And he picks up another. Cardinal Hayes, 1st down.
Starting to feel the same vibes that I felt last week at Cy Donnelly Field. Cardinal Hayes jumped out to a 2-touchdown lead and seemed invincible before St. Anthony's put 25 straight. So this game is far from over, but Cardinal Hayes is playing with such incredible confidence.
And Masood again flips it outside. Escobar the catch. Inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
And Michael Escobar on cue, the one who scored the game-winning touchdown, who picked up that huge conversion on 3rd down to essentially end the game. They did that in the pouring rain. Tonight, it's perfect conditions.
Trips to the left side for the Cardinals on another great drive. 2nd down and 2. And Jeremy Brown Allen kind of feels his way for the hole there, and he gets through on the left side, takes it inside the 15 down to about the 13-yard line. And it'll be about a yard short. It'll bring up a 3rd and 1. 4 minutes left in the first half. Brown Allen again, he's got the first down and plenty more inside the 10. It'll be 1st and goal, Cardinal Hayes. And you have a Stepinac player down at the 10-yard line. So time called momentarily for the injury.
Nerman Mitajic is down.
The senior, 6'4", 295-pound defensive end. Hopefully nothing serious as they attend to him. Meanwhile, Cardinal Hayes has put together another outstanding drive. And a score here would put them up by 3 scores. Hayes last year, 8-2, lost to Stepinac in the semifinals. Lost to them earlier this year, 23-20. And Nerman looks to be okay as he walks off the field under his own power. C.J. O'Neill has got to be feeling pretty good about the way his team has played here in this first half.
And I think back in the shorts, feeling much more comfortable than the gear he had to wear last week in the elements.
Let me tell you, after doing a couple of pre-games down on the sideline, that's impressive. The shorts are impressive. Here's the handoff to Jalen Smith inside the 10. It's cold out there, folks.
I have no pretense. I would not be in shorts. Call me wimpy. I'm fine. I'd rather be warm.
The Cardinals are inside the 5. It's second down and goal. Masood hands it off, but Smith slipped down as he got the handoff. He was looking to cut outside. He loses, well, maybe lost 2 yards on the play. It'll be third and goal. Let's check in with Amanda, who has a little bit more on the Cardinal Hayes coach.
Lou, you're talking about his shorts, and in the pregame, I mentioned that to him. I said, how do you stay warm? But he was actually walking around in what looked like a cape, and he said, don't worry, this cape keeps me warm in the pregame. And he said, I'm telling you right now, in a few months, when you see everyone wearing a cape to stay warm, you're going to think back and say, that C.J. O'Neill guy started the trend.
Making a fashion statement is C.J. O'Neill.
Trying to win football games and be a trendsetter. How does he have time for all of that? And if you're Stepinac's defense prior to that third down, you have to think in your mind, we're about to face 2 plays from scrimmage. Cardinal Hayes has already missed a PAT. Their special teams isn't the strongest. With the ball inside of the 10 and this lead, mentally you have to be prepared for third and goal and fourth and goal. This is a huge spot for the Crusaders defense.
Fourth down and goal for Cardinal Hayes. The football is at the 6-yard line. Twin receivers to the left side, and Masood looking that way on the run. Now he's in trouble and will go down all the way back at the 15-yard line. He is brought down, and in on the play, Brendan Wilkins, the junior defensive end, makes a big play for the Crusaders.
This play a little reminiscent of the regular season game where, although the down and distance is a bit different, it's Masood holding on to the football, trying to make a play, and he has to on fourth and goal, but holding on to it and getting sacked.
That could be a big play later on in this game should Stepinac come back here.
Couple of big things. 1:55, all 3 timeouts. Stepinac getting the ball to start the second half. A chance for them to put on consecutive scores with an explosive offense.
And the give is to Malik Grant, who takes it up near the 20. For the most part, this Cardinals defense has held the prolific Malik Grant in check. He had that one really nice run, but then fumbled at the very tail end of it. Carino looking to set up pass over the middle, incomplete. Intended for Sean Harris, kind of a wide receiver screen. But Harris unable to hang on.
Cardinal Hayes with over 200 yards of offense. Stepinac with the ball for the 4th time. They ran 5 plays their first drive. They went 3 and out on their second. 1 play and a fumble on their third. This offense has barely had the ball in the first half.
Third down now. Third at about 7. Hand off to Grant. Has a hole, breaks a tackle, and spins across the 25. And that's close to a first down for the Crusaders.
And that is just a smart play. Cardinal Hayes is out of timeouts. If you don't pick up the first down, they can't call timeout to preserve time for their own possession. The fact that you picked up the first down is gravy as you allow this drive to continue. The clock has not started yet. Now it does, but Stepinac is not ready with the play. I'd call timeout here with 1:08 to go. They're wasting valuable time.
Carino back to throw. Pump fakes. Now he goes long, and nobody home on that play as a little bit of miscommunication. Harris turned out, and Carino pumped it long.
That double move burned Iona Prep at the end of the first half last week as Stepinac tacked on a touchdown in the final minute of play in their semifinal victory. The involvement, the increased involvement of Sean Harris, another big reason why they're on a 5-game winning streak.
Carino rolling out on the run, and that was a bizarre play. Is there a flag down? Because it was
thrown by the back judge. Sean Harris was just tangled up there with Nasir Douglas.
Yeah, almost looked like he was blocking. It was weird.
It was as if Douglas was holding on to Sean Harris as if it was a running play down the field, but the ball was thrown in his direction, so that has to be some type of defensive penalty, you would think.
Let's see, the officials are talking it over, and it is defensive holding. See, here it is again. Watch this. Yeah, very bizarre as Nasir Douglas was holding there.
C.J. O'Neal demonstrating with an assistant coach as to why that should not be a defensive penalty, that he was just leaning on the offensive player, not holding him.
1st and 10, Stepinac. 45 seconds left here, first half. Carino looking to throw, and he's got a man at the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Sean Harris. Just like that, Stepinac strikes.
"64 yards, and when you have a player like Sean Harris, you're within touchdown range at any spot on the field.
Harris exploding and getting behind the defense. Nate Henderson in to kick the extra point. And his kick is up. It is no good. So he misses the extra point, and it's 12-6 Cardinal Hayes. Here's your touchdown.
Extra points hard to come by. Carino buying time, steps up, and Sean Harris beats a man down the middle of the field. If you put it on target, Sean Harris takes care of the rest. Skinny post over the middle of the field. They're able to line Harris up all over the field, out wide, in the slot, out of the backfield. Harris one-on-one is almost a win every single time. One of the best touchdown scorers in the Catholic League. He now has 6 postseason touchdowns. And C.J. O'Neal, I believe, still talking about that holding penalty on the prior play against Douglas that kept this drive alive for Stepinac. And as long as the Crusaders have time on the clock, they can score points. They can do it from anywhere.
And if you take a look at this score, Cardinal Hayes, without question, has dominated this first half. But Stepinac is right there with the Cardinals, down by just 6. It's got to be frustrating for Cardinal Hayes, knowing that they have dominated this game, but are only up by 1 score.
Unofficially, Lou, of the 24 first half minutes, Cardinal Hayes has had possession for about 18 of them. They're outgaining Stepinac by a significant margin as this ball will be placed at the 35. Now, Cardinal Hayes, they've got a couple of explosive players too, but they don't have any timeouts. So they'll be able to take a couple of shots. Cardinal Hayes will actually force Stepinac to re-kick. Michael Donnell, 31st season. He's taken Stepinac to new heights, very similar to what C.J. O'Neill has done at Cardinal Hayes in terms of taking a program from a lower level and making them a bigger power.
Ball bounding around off the kick, and Stepinac had a chance to recover, but could not find the handle at the 45, and eventually it bounced into the arms of Cardinal Hayes.
They almost had it in a glorious spot with Jaden Jenkins having the best shot at it for the Crusaders. Boy, oh boy, you get the ball on the positive side of midfield. Half a minute to go, timeouts in your pocket. Start dreaming about those shots you would take down the field to Sean Harris.
Well, let's see how Hayes plays it here with 31 seconds remaining. They do have the lead, but they have explosive offensive players as well. They're up 12-6. In what has been a very entertaining first half of football.
I think everything will depend on first down. If you pick up a gain, you hurry up, you go. If you don't pick anything up here of significance, then you just let the clock run out.
Masood hands it off.
Will Stepinac use a timeout?
That was Jeremy Brown-Allen on the carry. You're down to 20 seconds left. Football's at the 45-yard line. And Masood again hands it off, and a big hole here for Jeremy Brown-Allen inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line of Stepinac. 5 seconds left, and it'll be interesting to see if Masood tries to launch one towards the end zone here.
First, he might try to clock it on the ready for play, and then take a shot down the field.
And he's going straight back to throw. Now he steps up, goes long, and it is incomplete. A penalty flag thrown at the 5-yard line. So that could be interference. Of course, in high school football, it's a 15-yard penalty, not a spot foul, as it is in the NFL.
I think Masood acted as if he was going to spike it because he went under center for the first time, I think, in the first half. And so might have caught the defense slightly off guard.
So the penalty is against Stepinac, and that'll give Cardinal Hayes one more play. So an untimed down here.
And it allows Sofian Masood a better chance to throw it into the end zone. And I'd say with the ball spotted at 29, he certainly has the arm to get it over the goal line.
Trip receivers. Mason goes in motion. And Masood going long. He's throwing towards the end zone, and it is incomplete. Good coverage down there in the corner of the end zone, and the first half will come to an end as Tamaris was the intended receiver. So Cardinal Hayes will go into the locker room with a 6-point lead. They're up by the score of 12-6. And Stepinac able to get a quick touchdown towards the end of this first half after Cardinal Hayes had dominated half number one. So our score at halftime in the AAA championship game, Cardinal Hayes 12, Stepinac 6, and we'll be back with halftime activity in just a few moments right here on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Back at Mitchell Field here on Long Island, where Stepinac trails Cardinal Hayes by the score of 12-6 here in the New York Catholic League AAA championship game. Great year once again for the Crusaders of Stepinac, 6-4, following last year's 10-2 season, which took them, of course, all the way to the New York State Championship.
They were a number 3 seed in their league, and it turned out they were the best Catholic school in the state. But it started on this field a year ago, the same weekend, a matchup with top-seeded St. Anthony's, and Mackay Murphy started the scoring for St. Anthony's in the home black jerseys. He would rumble 75 yards for the touchdown, beating Michael Nicosia to the end zone. And then from there, it would be 14-0 St. Anthony's, which would then begin the Trill Williams show. 56 yards on the touchdown run. That was on offense. And now how about on special teams? 68 yards, Trill Williams making the score at this point, 25-14 Stepinac, as the Crusaders were gaining momentum. So offense, special teams, how about defense? Pick 6, 45-yard interception return. Trill Williams was spectacular, 47-22. Stepinac won its 3rd title in 4 years, setting up a state championship game in the Buffalo area against Canisius. Tyler DiCrescenzo, a 44-yard scoop and score on the fumble recovery, 29-14 Stepinac. And then this was a play that made the ESPN top 10. Michael Nicosia to Trill Williams on his back. Touchdown Crusaders. 49-28 would be the final. What an exclamation point for the high school career of Trill Williams, who this afternoon played as a true freshman for Syracuse against Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium. Maybe he could slip on that number 6 jersey again and stop on by, as Stepinac in the last 5 years, they have made at least this championship game all 5 years, winning the CHSFL title in 14 and 15 and last year in 17, lost in 16 to Cardinal Hayes, and they're facing the Cardinals once again in 2018. And what's been so interesting, Lou, the last 3 years following pure dominance in the league, they didn't lose to a CHSFL opponent in 2014 and 2015. They've been the 3 seed each of the last 3 years, and yet they have still somehow navigated their way to this championship game.
It's been quite a run for Stepinac, and Cardinal Hayes, of course, has had a lot of success over the past several years as well. The Cardinals last year 8-2 and making it to the championship game this season. Cardinal Hayes history in 2018, of course 4-4 this year, 17, 8-2, as we said, and winning the championship in 2016, finishing 8-5 that year.
In that 2016 year, very similar to this season. Back in 2016, they started 0-3. They really found their groove in the middle of the season. They were a 4 seed that went on the road in the semifinals and beat St. Anthony's. They duplicated that feat this year. Big difference, C.J. O'Neill said, was back in 2016, that was a prolific of all prolific offenses. Their defense struggled. Defense much better this year, and it all adds up to a 6-point halftime lead.
And they're up by the score of 12-6 with an eye towards the second half. So we're still at halftime. Cardinal Hayes leading Archbishop Stepinac 12-6 here in the Catholic League AAA Championship on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Our score at halftime, Cardinal Hayes 12 and Stepinac 6. Here at halftime, Cardinal Hayes dominating that first half with Stepinac getting a late touchdown. And we've got ourselves quite a game heading towards the second half, no question.
Cardinal Hayes ran 53 plays. Stepinac just 13 in that first half. And yet it's just a 1-score game. Jeremy Brown Allen with a 1-yard touchdown run, capping off a 69-yard drive, and then Sophion Masood to Jalen Smith. That capped an 80-yard scoring drive. Sofyan Massoud showing his ability to throw long passes down the field, but Zach Barnes that time there to break it up. The secondary was challenged, especially by this halfback option. Jalen Smith finding Angel Tamarez down the field. Stepinac trying to find offensive momentum, and this was over a 30-yard gain for Malik Grant, fresh off of 400-plus yards on the ground, but he fumbled and turned it over right back to Cardinal Hayes. Jalen Smith got things going to start that drive for Cardinal Hayes, but it would end inside of the 15-yard line. A huge stop for Brendan Wilkins and company for the Crusaders, holding Cardinal Hayes on 4th and goal. They'd get the ball back with inside of 2 minutes to play. Post route. Sean Harris, 64 yards after drawing a holding penalty. Crusaders have life because of their big play ability. Stepinac gets the ball to start the third quarter with a chance to add back-to-back scores.
So a huge touchdown there for Stepinac in the closing moments of the first half. And remember that big defensive play on a 4th down when Cardinal Hayes had a 4th down and goal and could not get in the end zone.
And that was definitely maybe the turning point of the first half, because Cardinal Hayes...
And our score at halftime is 12-6, Cardinal Hayes, here on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Back at Mitchell Field, where Cardinal Hayes leads Archbishop Stepinac 12-6 as we get ready for half number 2 in this Catholic League AAA championship. So Cardinal Hayes with a 1-score lead. And First and 12, Facebook, News 12 Varsity every Thursday night. Check that out. Friday Night Football, News 12 New Jersey every Friday night at 10:45. And Sports Rush, Facebook, News 12 Varsity every Sunday night.
And the Football Fix, Lou, every week. You can watch it live, Channel 61 at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, with Amanda Puglisi taking you throughout the tri-state and all of the great action, especially this time of year with all of the playoffs and championship action from around the tri-state. Be sure not only watch all that great regional programs that we just told you about available on the News 12 Varsity Facebook page, but the Football Fix as well every week.
Let's check in with Amanda, who's on the sidelines. Amanda?
Lou, I spoke to both coaches as they were walking off the field, and Coach O'Neill was not happy with the final few minutes of that half. He said, of course, there was a call that went against us, but also we made some mistakes. Now, the good thing is, he said, halftime is for a time for us to regain our composure and kind of take a look at those mistakes. He said, as always, it comes down to those 3 things. It's playing Cardinal Hayes football, playing fast, playing physical, and playing smart. Now, when I spoke to Coach O'Donnell, he said, we are lucky to only be down 12-6. We really weathered that storm, but what we're going to have to do on defense is we really are going to have to tackle much better. Cardinal Hayes, they're so athletic. They're very elusive. They were making us miss. Now, before halftime started, you see the coaching staff was talking to number 56, Dougie Simons, telling him that, hey, this defense only goes as far as you go. If we don't win, there is no tomorrow. So we are really going to need you to pick it up and lead this defense in the second half.
Dougie Simmons, such a big part of what Stepinac does along the defensive front, excuse me. He plays the end. He's good against the run, but also so strong as a pass rusher on the edge. He's got a dual purpose. He's got to set the edge and contain Sofyan Massoud, but also make sure he's getting after the quarterback and trying to pressure the Cardinal Hayes signal caller into making quick, fast decisions, perhaps sooner than he wants to.
It's a 1-touchdown lead for Cardinal Hayes, trying to avenge an earlier season loss to Stepinac by just 3 points. 23-20, the final in that game.
And milking that lead for all it's worth is Cardinal Hayes is yet to make its triumphant return to the field to start the third quarter.
And here come the Cardinals.
And you know, in addition to those tenets of Cardinal Hayes football, the fast, physical, and smart, they also talk about the resiliency that they build their program upon in that tenet, stepping up to the next play in football, stepping up to the next moment in life. And watching Cardinal Hayes last week score 2 touchdowns, give up 26 straight, and yet somehow still find the composure and the moxie and the fortitude to come back and win on the road and beat a St. Anthony's team that was the top seed, and beat a St. Anthony's team coming off of a bye, playing for themselves and also their head coach and Richie Reichert, whose career ended last week with 266 wins, leading St. Anthony's and those 14 AAA titles and all of those wins. And we saw C.J. O'Neal at the end of the game, in a moment of solitude, somewhat separated from the rest of his team, just pump his fists in such a demonstrative, Lou, but an honest way, just to think of all of the hours, all these coaches put in, the preparation, the sacrifices they make as adults in their personal lives for the good of the team and their players, and just to see that manifest itself in such an honest and raw fist pump. And then after a couple of seconds of letting it out, he realized that he was the head coach and had to organize his guys for the handshake line. So he quickly took the whistle around his neck and got everybody organized. But our camera crew does such a great job of capturing so many moments, and to be right on top of that particular moment, to lock in. You talk about plays and players and images, that's going to be something that really makes an imprint on the 2018 season.
Well, such an emotional victory and an emotional moment for Coach O'Neal and his team. A hard-fought victory against a great program like St. Anthony's. And another hard-fought ball game here tonight against another great program in Stepinac. Talk about back-to-back weeks against gigantic programs. Well, the Crusaders trying to win their 7th game of the season. Coming in 6-4 on the year. Only down by 1 score, and you can see the coaching victories here in the Catholic League. All-time wins leaders. Ben O'Connor, 341, leading the pack, and Rich Reichert in second at 266.
Mario Valentini still active with Mount St. Michael, and Mike O'Donnell still active, of course, with Stepinac. He picked up win 200 in the quarterfinals, taking down Christ the King. I asked him, of course, how it felt. He said, well, 201 would feel a lot better, and he picked that up last week against Iona Prep. And I think 202 and then 203 picked up this year will feel pretty good also. That would mean Stepinac had won the state championship.
They've got some work to do here, though. They're down by 6. And Cardinal Hayes kicking off left to right here to begin this second half. Another short kick. And Stepinac's going to have terrific field position to begin their first drive of half number 2.
So they got that touchdown late in the first half, 34 seconds to go. They held Cardinal Hayes on a possession that was ended by halftime, and now they get it back with the chance to tie or take the lead.
1st and 10. And the ball loose on the first play from scrimmage. And covering up is Carino.
Well, a 4-yard loss to start the drive is not how you draw it up.
Nope. Brings up a 2nd and 14. And Carino sends twin receivers. Actually trips to the right side. Hands it off instead. No, keeps it himself. Fires, and it's caught at the 40-yard line. And then driving up to the 42 or so is Sean Harris. So it brings up a 3rd down in about 7. From the 42. And Carino backs away, takes a look at the sideline one more time. Trips this time come to the left. And Carino straight back to throw, has plenty of time. Now he's pressured, rolls out, and puts his head down and drives across the 45, but he is short of 1st down yardage. Atwa Haney comes up to make the play.
Yeah, that was the one. Atwa Haney along with Pearsall, those 2 inside linebackers. Really the heart and soul in some ways of the defense for Cardinal Hayes. Their ability to not only bottle things up on the inside, but run sideline to sideline. A big difference maker for the Cardinals defense.
4th down. And let's see if Stepinac actually runs a play here. It looks like they might back up and kick it again. Joey Carino has done this several times in this game. Comes up in the shotgun, then takes a couple steps back and punts it away. Takes a good Stepinac bounce across the 20-yard line and is down at about the 16. So good job by the Cardinal Hayes defense. Stepinac had the opening possession of the second half, but they could not put anything together, and Hayes will take over deep in their own territory.
Things got derailed right off the start. A low snap in the shotgun, and Joey Carino couldn't handle it. They lost 4 yards to begin. They were behind the sticks and never got in front. Just saw a couple defenders for Stepinac. One of them, DeAndre Smith, who moved from safety to outside linebacker. And here's Joe Garbowski. Can they continue to get the push up the middle? The defensive line for Stepinac, I think, started to get a little bit of pressure on Sofian Massoud late in the 2nd quarter.
Cardinals come up to the line of scrimmage, and Massoud in the shotgun with twin receivers on the right side. Now a penalty flag is thrown, and this is going to go against Cardinal Hayes. Looks like motion. Legal procedure.
Think about second half adjustments. Mike O'Donnell telling Amanda they need better tackling. And it seems like, at least on this series, they've gone with a bit of a lighter lineup. Just 3 down linemen instead of their typical 4-4 alignment, bringing in an extra outside linebacker. So a little bit lighter to combat the speed and hopefully better tackling in open space. But that means that Garbowski and Simmons and company need to put a rush together with just 3.
1st and 15, and not much there. A dive play up the middle. Jeremy Brown Allen on the carry. Very short pickup, maybe a yard or so.
So they moved Garbowski really from a tackle to the end, and big number 99, Nerman Mitajic, will see some more time, basically as a nose guard.
Mitajic, 6'4", 295. Massoud fires outside, incomplete.
Pressure that time came up the middle. It seems McKenna and Gray both blitzing, and so they'll use the 3 down linemen with blitzing and pressure from the linebacker unit, giving Sofian Massoud a little bit of a different look, that time unloading it rather quickly.
Intended for Tafari Mason. And now a 3rd down and 14 for the Cardinals.
And Kevin Gray, just a tackling machine. He will have his eyes on number 8.
Whistles blow the play dead. This could be Another call against Cardinal Hayes. Let's see. Yeah, it is illegal procedure against Hayes. That's going to back him up another 5. So both teams coming out of the locker room with tough opening drives here.
Jonathan DeMarco, defensive coordinator, long time at that position for Stepinac. C.J. O'Neill brought him up by name multiple times in our conversation. Perhaps there were some adjustments made in the second half to try to turn things around defensively, because Stepinac was severely outgained offensively in the first half.
It is 3rd down and 19. The give is to Jalen Smith, who gets outside, breaks down the sideline. And Smith finally pushed out of bounds near midfield. Jalen Smith with that explosiveness to the corner. Picks up a 1st down and much more.
Just when you think Cardinal Hayes is backed into a corner, Jalen Smith gets him out. A missed tackle on the perimeter, finally pushed out of bounds by Jaden Jenkins. Stepinac almost got the stop they needed, but the Cardinals have been tremendous on 3rd down today.
1st down at the 46-yard line. Masood looking to throw, and Smith trying to come back to the ball. It falls short and incomplete. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. Smith was open, but that pass appeared to slip out of Masood's hand somewhat. See Masood trying to keep those hands warm. It is a cold, windy.
Welcome to Mitchell Field.
A very cold, windy November evening here. Here's the handoff to Jeremy Brown Allen. Some short yardage on that carry. So another 3rd and long upcoming for the Cardinals, 3rd and 9.
The Stepinac defense repeatedly has found ways to not get off the field. Whether it's a halfback option, whether it's a run by Masood, or Jalen Smith breaking free, Stepinac finally defensively needs to come up with a stop.
Masood looking to throw. He steps up, fires long, and Smith almost an acrobatic catch. He was covered well, went up the ladder, but could not come down with it.
It was Zach Barnes getting his hand on it, but this is the trust that Masood has in Smith. He was basically triple covered, and he still threw it up there, allowed Smith to make an attempt at it, and he nearly came down with it despite all of the traffic in his area. And Barnes was the primary coverage guy, but it wasn't knocked down.
And a fake on 4th down for the Cardinals, all the way inside the 15-yard line. Tremendous play. Maurice Sherrod on the catch. There's a penalty flag down. They threw it to the tackle. Maurice Sherrod.
We'll see, though, if A, Sherrard was an eligible receiver and if he was covered up or not on the line. It does seem like an illegal touching is called.
How about this play? Nice catch, by the way.
It was just tossed by Cheyenne Pearsall, who is the punt protector, and Maurice Sherrod, one of the only two-way players, two-way linemen, but no one said anything about his hands.
Was he actually lined up on the interior of the line?
He must have, our angle didn't show, but he must have been covered, which makes him an ineligible receiver.
Interesting play, but it goes for naught. And Stepinac will take over. minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Here in the AAA final, it's still 12-6 Cardinal Hayes.
Cardinal Hayes halfback option in the first half, going for a fake punt near midfield in the second. You want to talk about a team, you look at a team that's, playing loose and throwing out all the stops. And Sherrard, it must have been covered. See if we could sneak in another look.
And there's Sherrod, and he is, it looked like he was.
Depends, if somebody was to his right covering him up, that makes him an ineligible receiver, or if he didn't report as eligible. So either Cardinal Hayes lined up incorrectly, or Stepinac kind of knew he wasn't an eligible receiver, and either way, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was hard to see if Atwahaney was actually lined up to the side of him or just a little bit behind him. And nonetheless, as we said, it goes for naught. It's second down, 11. And the give up the middle across the 45. And actually, it was Carino who kept it himself at a huge hole and took advantage.
It's an offensive line that features at minimum 3 Division I players, and yet it was an offensive line that got pushed around a little bit by the Cardinal Hayes front in the regular season. They manhandled Iona Prep a week ago as the offense rushed for over 400 yards. Their play today, especially now that we're into the second half, will be huge, as Malik Grant has really been bottled up, as Stepinac has not really been able to string big plays together.
And a big hit made right at the 50-yard line by Atwahaney. But a nice pickup by C.J. Wise.
Remember, Stepinac ran just 13 plays in the first half, and so this line should be well rested and should be in a position to push some people around. Chris Fox, the right tackle, number 78, he's bound for Temple. The left tackle, Jonathan Mucciolo, he's bound for Sacred Heart. And James Prince, the right guard, also a Division I prospect.
Second down, 8. Carino looking to throw, has plenty of protection, and fires incomplete. He had plenty of time to throw. Was looking to go downfield to Nick Furio. So it brings up a third down now, and about 9. Football at the midfield stripe.
Furio had a bit of an angle on Douglas, but a small window for Joey Carino, who threw 3 interceptions in Stepinac's last loss. That was to Chaminade. He has thrown only 1 since in 5.5 games compared to 12 touchdowns.
Carino again back to throw, again plenty of time. Now the protection breaks down and he takes off and only picks up a yard or so. He had plenty of time initially, but the coverage was excellent downfield.
Yeah, that's a coverage sack, as Carino had a perfect pocket to step up into. But credit Cardinal Hayes and their secondary, making sure that everybody down the field was blanketed.
So it is fourth down. And about 6 or 7 for Stepinac, and looks like they'll back up and punt it away here.
At what point, though, does the offensive coordinator, Ken Barger, start to get a bit antsy and actually go for it on fourth down? The answer is not here.
They kick it down inside the 20. It's down at the 15-yard line, and Cardinal Hayes will put it in play there, leading by the score of 12-6. 5:22 remaining here in the third quarter. Neither team has been able to run the ball or move the ball very effectively here in the third quarter. Hayes did have that one big run by Jalen Smith. And both head coaches, C.J. O'Neill on the left, Mike O'Donnell on the right. Looking on, here's handoff off tackle. And again, the Crusaders playing much tougher at the line of scrimmage here. Not as much room to run for this Cardinal Hayes rushing attack here in the third quarter. Pickup of only a yard. Second down and 9. Masood looking to throw. Plenty of pressure, and he just throws it away. He made one quick turn, and when he turned around, the Stepinac rush was upon him.
I mean, it's a completely different story in terms of the pass rush, in terms of just the visible comfort or lack thereof. First half, Sofian Masood took the snap, stood back there, picked apart the defense, got whatever he wanted. And this time, Stepinac rushing 3 linemen and then some linebackers getting pressure on the quarterback.
Trips to the right, and Masood gets away momentarily. Still on the run. He fires, and it's incomplete. So the pressure thwarts another Cardinal Hayes possession here.
It's pressure up the middle. It's Gray and McKenna joining the 3 down linemen, coming right at Masood. It's almost like double-A gap pressure.
Now they're saying incomplete. See the official waving his arms. Yeah, that was absolutely not a catch.
You say it so confidently. That's one that we actually saw, you know.
Let's see. Now we'll definitely be able to tell. I'm sure, looked like he was. Yeah, it looks like he was out.
I mean, Stepinac is certainly going to say that it was out.
Yeah, you only need 1 foot in, of course, in high school, but that looked like 0 feet in to me. So 4th down and 9. Looks like there's a flag down in the end zone, by the way.
I think it's just a
sideline warning.
It is. It seems to be perhaps just some personnel for Cardinal Hayes was creeping a bit down the sideline, and I think our referee just wants to manage that a little bit.
And a penalty flag flies. Illegal procedure.
You know, it's so interesting, Lou, the meetings that these teams have had over the years, and I'm sure we'll be able to touch on it in a little bit more detail, but the commonality between all of them is that they've been close. But there have been high-scoring games and low-scoring games. It's almost hard to predict exactly the type of style that the game will evolve into, and today it seems like it's going to be much more of a slugfest than a scoring fest.
Big rush by Stepinac, and that kick bounces out of bounds at the 27-yard line. So Stepinac with phenomenal field position to begin this drive. They'll start at the Cardinal Hayes 27.
Best starting field position of the day for Stepinac. And the Crusaders and the Cardinals, they've played a lot of close games over the years, but they've been into the 40s. Their playoff game last year was 13-12. And an interesting note, Lou, the last 2 years, 2016, 2017, the team that won in the regular season lost in the playoffs. So in this case, Stepinac won the regular season game. Recent history would tell us that Cardinal Hayes will win the rematch.
1st and 10, and they give it to Grant. And he's hit at the line of scrimmage and driven back. So no pickup on the play for Malik Grant. who has been really held in check here tonight by this Cardinal Hayes defense. Remember Grant coming in over 1,200 yards rushing on the season. It'll be 2nd and 10. No gain on that last play. 3:45 remaining in the third. And Carino on the run. Fires outside. Incomplete. And a big hit delivered at the 15-yard line. In and out of the hands there of Nick Furio.
Carino had to toss it over the second line and drop it in to Furio just in front of Douglas, and that ball hanging up just a little bit, and Nick Furio took a clean, hard hit from Nasir Douglas in coverage.
So it's 3rd and 10.
Sean Harris lined up to the left in between Wise and Furio, bottom of the screen.
Wise goes in motion. Grant gets the handoff and nothing doing. Picks up maybe a yard or two.
4 down territory, and so looking to pick up 3 to 4 to 5 yards with Grant on 3rd down and potentially trying to do it again on 4th. Instead, he's stuffed for a gain of just 1, and now it's 4th and 9.
Maurice Sherrod on that last tackle for the Cardinal Hayes defense. 4th and 9, and the football sits at about the 26-yard line. 3 minutes left in the third. Still 12-6 in favor of Cardinal Hayes. Carino back to throw. Low snap. He picked it up off the turf. Now still looking. Fires as he's hit. Has a man wide open in the end zone. Touchdown. Stepinac. Nick Furio on the reception. And Carino delivers a strike.
What a catch by Nick Furio. This is a scramble drill as Joey Carino just kept things alive. We'll be able to take another look in a moment at what Joey Carino did. Nick Furio took a hit, stayed in the game.
Looks like they're going to go for 2 out of the Wildcat. A bad snap. Grant picks it up, and he's not going to get there. He's brought down at the 3-yard line.
So teams missing extra points, then chasing points, and that's how we end up with a 12-12 ball game. Nick Furio, 25-yard touchdown grab from Joey Carino on 4th and 9. And Carino looking for Harris, coming across the field, stepping up, backpedaling, and keeping the poise to fire a strike as Furio got away from the defender. Furio stuck with it, Carino stuck with it, and look at the poise to throw an absolutely perfect pass to Nick Furio in the back of the end zone. And Lou, Mike O'Donnell had this great analogy. When you're first driving to a place, the initial time, you go slow, you take your time. And for Joey Carino as a first-year starting quarterback, they were a bit slow with him, making sure that he felt comfortable. And now he's used to going where he's going. He's driving fast. All of the training wheels are off, and Joey Carino has become the unquestioned leader of this team offensively. He has now thrown 13 touchdowns compared to 1 interception in the last 6 games.
That kickoff by Stepinac goes out of bounds. A very short kick. And Cardinal Hayes will have great field position to begin this drive. And the call is illegal kickoff as it was just kicked right out of bounds. So it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals.
For lovers of special teams, turn away.
It has been a rough night in the kicking game for both teams here tonight. Just State the facts.
We're not calling, we're not naming names. We're just saying a general gist of what we're seeing.
The ball's marked at the 39-yard line. It is 1st and 10, Cardinal Hayes. Masood looking to throw. Now he's going to take off, but nowhere to go. He is hit from behind and dropped by Dougie Simmons. Simmons last year at 18 sacks. He's got 10 this year. He's been a sack machine from that defensive end position.
Add one more with that takedown and message received. Amanda said that Coach O'Donnell told his stud defensive end, we go where you take us. And Dougie Simmons and that defensive line is getting to the quarterback.
Trips go wide to the left. Now Masood takes off, has some room, and dives up across midfield. That should be good for Cardinal Hayes' first down. We are tied at 12 with 1:58 remaining in the third quarter.
You do everything you can to keep Masood in the pocket, and he just steps up through the front door and scrambles for 12 and a first down.
First and 10 at the 50-yard line. And Masood keeps it himself, has a big hole, breaks outside, hits the corner, and tiptoes down the sideline, out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
Makai Green shouldered him out, but not before Sofian Masood picks up 35. Such a great play fake. That's a part of it. And then the athleticism in the open field, but that was such a believable fake handoff into the gut of his back.
And Masood looking to throw, and he fires outside. Incomplete, intended for Escobar, who got tangled up with the defender, but no call. And it will bring up a 2nd and 10.
Michael Escobar, such a great example of a kid who just does it the right way, cares only about winning. In a different offense, maybe on a different team, Michael Escobar would be the one with all the numbers, and you would know his name more easily than you already do. Instead, he just makes the right play down after down and came up huge for Cardinal Hayes in the fourth quarter last week.
Trips go wide to the left. And here's a throw outside, incomplete, intended for Tamarez. So now it's 3rd and 10.
It feels like a broken record, so I can only imagine how painful it is, Lou, for you to hear me say it again. The pass rush has been a difference in this third quarter. Sofian Masood throwing quickly off his back foot before his receivers expecting it, compared to the first half when he just stood back comfortably in the pocket and just threw wherever he wanted to, when he wanted to. Mitajic, Gray, McKenna, Simmons, all doing their part defensively.
Masood rolling out again, fires end zone, caught, touchdown! Cardinal Hayes. Mike Escobar on the reception, and the Cardinals are back on top.
The poise by this offense, the resiliency of Sofian Masood, and another big play by Michael Escobar. Back-to-back weeks with second-half touchdowns. All the momentum on Stepinac's side after the game-tying touchdown, and Cardinal Hayes marches down the field. 61 yards for the touchdown.
And Masood lines the Cardinals up for 2. He's straight back to throw, fires for the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Tamarez. So the score remains 18-12, Cardinal Hayes, with 1:21 left here in the third.
I think first one to convert a PAT or a two-point conversion wins. Sofian Massoud finding senior Michael Escobar backpedaling with gray in his face, throws off of his back foot against the rush. Looks back across the field. Escobar is there, out-leaping the defense. Tremendous touchdown by Michael Escobar. And C.J. O'Neal, he said, you know what? This is not to knock you guys and what you do. And I said, I'm all ears. I can take criticism. That's fine. He said, sometimes you guys don't focus on the kids that just do it right. Maybe they don't have the most gaudy of stats. Maybe they don't jump out the page. But Michael Escobar does everything right. And now the last couple of weeks, he's adding productivity to that already terrific mindset.
Been a terrific year for Escobar, as we said, coming into the game with 32 receptions. He's had a couple of big ones here tonight, and none bigger than that one as it puts his team up by 6, 18-12. But tons of time left in this one, a minute 23 left in the third quarter.
Which yard line is it going to go out of bounds on this kick?
That was one of the better kicks.
My cynicism was rewarded.
But penalty flag on the play. Looked like Cardinal Hayes might have been offside on the kick.
They are going to move the tee back 5 yards.
So the Cardinals will have to re-kick. Well, once again, Stepinac finds themselves down by 6. And the Crusaders will have to get that offense going and try to answer. And this kick fielded at the 23. And a little bit of a seam fumble. Oh, nope, the ball.
That was a helmet.
That was a helmet, not the ball.
A helmet is loose. Somebody recover. C.J. Wise holds on to the football to give possession to the Crusaders.
Helmet came off of Jared Wilmoth, Jr. So it's Stepinac football at the 37-yard line.
Sofian Massoud, the junior, had the answer for Cardinal Hayes. Can Joey Carino match the touchdown just scored by the Cardinals?
Carino looking to throw. He fires, has a man open at the 30-yard line, and still with the ball. Great move inside the 10. Harris, Sean Harris, with a great run after the catch.
Is that kid spectacular or what? Great throw down the field into coverage, wanting it all, making the adjustment. A year after seeing a number 6 in Trill Williams run up and down the field scoring touchdowns for Cardinal Hayes, Sean Harris has taken over the number and is equally as productive.
Now Stepinac coming right back. Off tackle they go this time with the run. And again, Cardinal Hayes playing it very tough at the line of scrimmage.
It's a 56-yard gain down to the 9. Couple of touchdown throws for Joey Carino. Sean Harris has been a factor, but this run game has struggled. Every quarterback wants to work off of play action, but a play fake is not going to work if the line can't become a bit more productive and create some holes for Malik Grant.
It's second down and goal from the 8-yard line. And Carino rolling out right side on the run, fires, catch made, and a big tackle made at the 2-yard line.
He got absolutely stuck by Nasir Douglas, and that was a tremendous tackle short of the goal line.
And there's a player down on that far sideline. Here's a look at that hit one more time.
It is Nick Furio who's down on the sideline. he got rocked, but I think he came down a bit awkwardly on his leg, and so that is why he is earning the attention of the athletic training staff. But a look at Douglas, who's a physical cornerback, big hitter, and applied a solid contact on Furio.
So the clock stops with 8 seconds left here in the third quarter. And Stepinac is knocking on the door again, looking to tie it up. Well, these two teams have had great success over the past several years, and you can see Stepinac with 5 final appearances since 2014. And Cardinal Hayes is right there with them, as the Cardinals have been there 3 times as well.
So this is during Archbishop Stepinac's 5-year run to the championship. Since 2004, where Cardinal Hayes begun as a AAA school. In 14, it was Iona Prep. 15 and 16, the opponent for Archbishop Stepinac was Hayes. Last year, St. Anthony's made an appearance in the title game. And this year again, Cardinal Hayes. And so it's been a school from Westchester in Stepinac, a school from the Bronx, and Cardinal Hayes become the dominant programs over the last half-decade.
There's Nick Furio, who needs some assistance coming off the field. He is putting a little bit of weight on both legs, so that's obviously a good sign. He needs some assistance coming off, so hopefully nothing serious and he can get back out there.
They're already playing without Dominic Nicolo, who's been out at wide receiver. Now without Furio, you're starting to really go down the depth chart in terms of available players for that spot. We'll see if that means they go more tight end. They bring perhaps McKenna into play a bit more.
So the Crusaders with a 3rd and goal from the 2, but we'll have to wait until that play is run as the third quarter expires. So a terrific game in the AAA championship here. Our score after 3. Cardinal Hayes 18, Stepinac 12 on News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Welcome back to the Mitchell Field Complex here on Long Island. News 12 Varsity's Game of the Week. Cardinal Hayes leading Stepinac 18-12 in the AAA final. And a reminder, today's game is brought to you by Sloman Shield. Shield your home with the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. Third down play, and getting outside towards the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! It's Harris who carries it in. Sean Harris takes it into the end zone, and Stepinac has tied the game at 18. Hey, David, you know, that's at least the 3rd time, there might be more, 3rd time today that coming back from the break, a team has scored a touchdown. The first play. Extra point kick is up. It is good. And Stepinac gets a big extra point from Nate Henderson. And the Crusaders have the lead. They're up by 1. It's 19-18.
Sean Harris had the big reception of over 50 yards to set up 1st and goal. And taking the toss or a flip right in front with the jet sweep action with Quentin McCauley in the game in place of Nick Furio. And Sean Harris has his 2nd touchdown, 1 receiving, 1 rushing. Nate Henderson, typically sure-footed. It's an aberration that he missed the one in the first half, not that he made the one in the second. He's definitely a weapon for the Crusaders. And we joked a moment ago about first team, not to a certain point total wins, but first team to convert after a touchdown would win. And well, now Stepinac has the 1-point lead.
So Cardinal Hayes trailing now by 1.
Crusaders scoring on back-to-back drives. Cardinal Hayes answered a Crusaders touchdown with one of its own last time out.
Very short kick by Henderson. Sails out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
At this point, for Henderson, who's very competent, this is just strategy. Angle it as close to the 35 as possible, knowing that the team is going to take over between the 35 and the 40 and just call it a day. And I think it's to the point where the coverage teams are so concerned about a return that they'd rather lose the game on a 12-play drive that they give up defensively. They don't want to give up a 70 or 75 return in special teams. It's just come to the point where they would rather rely on their defense, and this is just, I'm thinking, and I'm justifying it and rationalizing it as strategy.
The ball's actually out at the 43-yard line. So it is 1st and 10 for Cardinal Hayes at their own 43. We are just underway in the fourth quarter. The Cardinals down by 1, 19-18. And the throw downfield incomplete as Masood was heavily pressured again as he had a defender right in his face when he delivered the ball.
Under normal circumstances, there's a certain amount of insanity of continuing to give a competent offense the ball with only 55 or 60 yards to drive. But you'd rather just go up against more plays as a defensive unit compared to giving up a big one on special teams.
2nd and 10. Masood flips it. This is Jalen Smith. And he gets across the 45 up to about the 47 or so.
This is gut check time for Stepinac's defense. They have given up a ton of third down conversions to the Cardinals. You're up a point. You've just scored touchdowns. Maybe this is even 4-down territory for Cardinal Hayes in this fourth quarter. Can you get a stop that you desperately need and you haven't been able to get all game?
It is 3rd down and 8 at the 46-yard line. Twin receivers right side, and the throw down the field incomplete. Intended for Tamarez. And Masood led him just a little bit. There's a penalty flag down.
But Tamarez, it appears, was held. He only had one arm available to go for the catch.
And it is holding, defensive holding against the Crusaders. That's an automatic 1st down. And marches the ball all the way down to the Stepinac 44.
Result of the play is a first. Result of the play is a 1st down. It was marked off 10 yards. And again, Stepinac could not get off the field on a 3rd and long.
So on a 1st down play, here's the handoff. And not much there for Jalen Smith as he picks up maybe a yard or two across the 45 down to the 44. Makes it 2nd down and 9, just 1 yard on that gain. 10 minutes and 40 seconds remaining here. Sufyan Masood barks the signals, and he hands it off. Big hole that closed up quickly. Jalen Smith had a huge hole when he first got through it, but then Stepinac reacted nicely, and they held that gain down.
So I'd say we're definitely in 4-down territory. It's 3rd down and medium. Is this the time where Stepinac gets a defensive stop?
3rd and 5. Stepinac showing maybe a blitz there on 3rd and 5. They started to come and then backed off. Smith in motion, and a penalty flag. No flag, just a timeout call by Cardinal Hayes. So Hayes wants to talk it over on a key play upcoming. 3rd down and 5 9 minutes and 42 seconds remaining here in the fourth quarter.
It's really remarkable. C.J. O'Neal started back in 2003. A couple years later, won his first title A. And then 8 years later, winning a AA title in 2013. 2014, falling in the quarters to Stepinac. 2015, falling in the finals. 2016, winning a AAA title for Cardinal Hayes, their first league championship since 1970. And the way that C.J. O'Neal built the program over the last decade and a half, very similar to what Mike O'Donnell did. 3 decades as head coach, taking over as a AA program, won a AA title in 2010. Next year, 2011, in the final, losing to St. Anthony's, returning to the championship game in 2014, and beating Iona Prep 16-14 in front of 6,000 people at Fordham University. What a meteoric, or what a prolonged rise for Stepinac.
Here's Massoud in trouble, gets away, turns it upfield, and scoots out of bounds just shy of the 30, and that should be enough for a Cardinal Hayes first down.
I wish I had the stat. I mean, their third down conversion is just at an insane rate. And Massoud was bottled up, and he leaked out to the side and just outran the defense.
There's Massoud again, getting outside. And then a big play by Stepinac. They say they've got the ball. They do! Stepinac forces a Cardinal Hayes turnover.
In desperate need of a big play, and the Crusaders got it. Any type of way to get off the field, and in this case, they did it by forcing the turnover. Cardinal Hayes had played perfect. Don't think Smith perfectly had it as he rushed up. I think it was wedged between his body, and Stepinac jumping on top of it, picking up the loose ball, handing the keys back over to Joey Carino. We talked about how he's become more adept at the offense and more comfortable. Can he drive Stepinac for a touchdown here?
The Crusaders take over 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line. A handoff goes up the middle to Grant, and he still pushes the pile across the 35 and up near the 37-yard line.
Here's the challenge for the offensive line. You're a talented unit, you're a heralded unit, but you haven't done enough to this point to create the room for Malik Grant and CJ Wise. Do you have it in you with 9 minutes to go to put together a championship drive?
2nd down and 3. The ball sits at about the 37.
Grant doesn't need a lot of room. He just needs an opening.
8 minutes, 40 seconds counting down here in the fourth. And now another timeout called by Cardinal Hayes. Well, now they change it as Stepinac. Official initially pointed towards Hayes, but it is Stepinac. Now let's check in with Amanda.
Back in or not. He currently is sitting on the bench. He's tried to get up off the bench a few times, and as we saw him limping off the field, he's kind of having that same effect. So again, no, we're not really sure if he's coming back or not, but I can tell you this: when his teammates would come over to him on the bench, I could hear him after he would shake their hand, he would say, "Go out there and go finish this game."
You could see Nick Furio, number 2, Dom Nicolo, number 1. Some attrition at the wide receiver spot. A couple of guys that you would expect to be in the game at this time. Instead, Quentin McCauley is seeing some extra time. Number 18 you see there, a junior wide receiver. As cliche as it is, Lou, next man up, and it's McCauley right here.
2nd down and 3. Here is Carino looking long, and it is caught at the 20-yard line and down to the 10. It's Eugene Boyd on the reception, who got behind the defense A big play for the Crusaders.
What a throw. Joey Carino, outstretched, over-the-shoulder catch to Eugene Boyd. I thought, no way, this is overthrown. Perfect pocket, great job offensive line, and Carino drops it in as Boyd beats his man down the field.
First and goal inside the 10. Carino keeps it himself. Nowhere to go this time as he was hemmed in, and he just dives down at the 11. So he loses 2. And it will be second and goal from the 11-yard line.
53 yards setting up this first and goal. Carino to Boyd. And as the run game has struggled, Stepinac has strapped its fortune to their junior quarterback.
7 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. And Cardinal Hayes desperately trying to keep Stepinac out of the end zone here, trailing by just 1 point. And a handoff goes to Grant, breaks a tackle, and then takes on 2 defenders down near the 5-yard line. He actually stopped at about the 6.
Thinking ahead on this third and goal, Lou, is this 4-down territory? They have a good field goal kicker, Nate Henderson, but going up by 4, what does that really do for you against a team that would never really go for a field goal ever? So this could just be 4-down territory, either end zone or bust.
Third and goal from the 6, and the handoff coming wide, nowhere to go. C.J. Wise hit behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. It's a big loss on the play all the way back to the 10. Now it brings up a 4th and goal from the 10, and it looks like they will indeed kick the field goal.
Just adding on points here in the fourth quarter. You know, Mike O'Donnell, as head coach of this program, he is like a CEO. He's got a defensive coordinator that calls plays, an offensive coordinator that runs that unit, but the final decision-making lies with him, and he wants the points behind a very capable Nate Henderson.
And Nate Henderson, 5 of 7 on the year in field goal attempts, and he boots this one up and through. So he bangs the field goal through, and that increases Stepinac's lead to 4. They're now up 22-18. But to your point, David, certainly Cardinal Hayes, as they drive down, they would go for a touchdown anyway, which would give them the lead should they get in.
You know, when you start counting points and thinking about it, if Hayes were to score, it's 24-22, and if they don't convert, then a field goal could win the other way.
Correct.
It's definitely the prudent play, and I think for someone who has criticized teams over the last couple weeks for chasing points, going for the field goal and adding points, I should be more approving of. But again, Nate Henderson missing that PAT in the first half, that's the aberration. He's a terrific place kicker and is really showing his value here in the fourth quarter.
And he'll kick it off here.
No, you don't stop waving the flag when you're on camera.
No, that's when you wave it vigorously.
That's right. You can't give up now.
Henderson keeps it on the ground, ball bounding around, and covered by Cardinal Hayes at the 43-yard line. So again, Hayes with great field position.
Stepinac has scored on 3 straight drives. That offense starting to hum. They've made big plays through the air after Malik Grant rushed for over 400 yards, 405 to be exact. What has been called a CHSFL record by the CHSFL website. And if you can't trust them, Lou, who can you trust?
Well, 6:08 now left here in the fourth quarter. Just about halfway through this final period. And Cardinal Hayes has a 1st and 10 at the 44. Masood looking to throw, fires, and it's incomplete. Intended for Escobar, but he was well covered downfield. Very good coverage by Romero. Stefan Romero right there with him.
Romero reacted as if he thought he should have come up with the interception, but he was jostling there with Escobar down the sideline.
So it's 2nd and 10. Clock stopped with 6:02 left. It's a 4-point deficit for Cardinal Hayes. Handoff going wide is Jalen Smith, and he's tripped up. Picks up a few yards, but well played at the line of scrimmage by Kevin McKenna, the junior linebacker.
He made a nice play after Jaden Jenkins slowed down Smith in the backfield. And here we are, 3rd down. Can Stepinac get a stop?
It's 3rd down and about 6 for the Cardinals. And Masood looking to throw, fires incomplete. He had him in, and it was Jalen Smith, just couldn't find the handle.
It's really shocking, Lou, to see a miscue made by that young man who has been otherworldly in this game and during this playoff run.
So it brings up a 4th down. And they're going to, I believe, put a little more time on the clock.
Going to add 9 seconds.
And they want 5:20 on the clock. Official still giving the signal upstairs. They put 5:16 on the clock, but it's 5:20 that he wants.
See, we can see it because we could zoom in.
Now there's 5:18, going up by 2-second increments. There they are, 5:20.
Good thing it wasn't an extra minute because we'd be here a long time. It'd be 30 presses of the dial.
Hey, huge play here. 4th down, and Cardinal Hayes is going to go for it in their own territory with a 4th and 6 with 5:20 left. Masood looking to throw. He fires. It is incomplete. And Stepinac's going to take over in Cardinal Hayes territory.
I don't blame him, Lou. I really don't. You have a quarterback who you trust, who has proven himself to be so steady in these situations. You have a defense that has given up 3 straight scoring drives. You want the ball in the hands of your best player. That's your quarterback, Sofyan Masood. He threw an incompletion to Smith that was dropped, and then just overthrew Tafari Mason by just a sliver. Now the Cardinal Hayes defense, they can come up with a stop here and give the ball back to their stud quarterback in the same exact situation.
Carino in the gun on a 1st and 10. He hands it off to Grant, who breaks into the secondary. Grant hits the corner, breaks another tackle, and dives down inside the 25.
We've been waiting for a run like that since he fumbled the ball away back in the 2nd quarter. Stepinac should wisely use some clock in between plays. The fans at home are saying, don't score too quickly, but you want points. Points matter. I think there's a few establishments at White Plains, friends of the Stepinac program, watching in from Westchester County.
1st and 10 for the Crusaders at the 23-yard line. Wise goes in motion. Grant gets the carry again. Again, he breaks outside. There's a couple of penalty flags down. And inside the 10, Grant takes it to the 8. But again, there are 2 flags on the field.
You know, this Crusaders team lost 4 games in a row as a holding is called against Stepinac. In the prior 4 years combined, they only lost 6 times. And they lost 4 games for the first time in over a decade. It had been years since they experienced that type of losing streak, and yet Mike O'Donnell He told his team after the loss to Chaminade, I'm about to book a vacation with my wife in November, and I never do that. I'm usually busy in November playing football and the long turkey Thanksgiving Day game against White Plains that was recently discontinued. So he's used to being occupied, and he told his team, hey, I'm going to book something because we're going to be available. 5 straight wins, playing for a title with the fourth quarter lead in the AAA championship game.
Holding from the spot of the foul, 1st and 20. 4:20 remaining in the fourth. Carino taking as much time as he can, hands it off. This is Wise, makes a couple of nice cuts and takes it down to the 25-yard line. He picked up 9 yards on that carry, got just about back to the original line of scrimmage. You have a player down for Stepinac, and it looks to be Malik Grant. So a timeout is called at the 4-minute mark, and they attend to Malik Grant. Well, Cardinal Hayes defense has got to come up big here to give themselves a shot. If Stepinac should score again, that might do it. Remember, Cardinal Hayes had taken the lead. It was 18-12. And Stepinac has scored the last 10 points. And Grant appears to be okay.
With Malik Grant out, Makai Green enters the lineup. He was the main fill-in for Grant when he dealt with that high ankle sprain. Starting safety is now in the backfield with Carino.
Carino watching the scoreboard clock tick down. He gives to Green. Green breaks one tackle and takes it down to the 22. And whistle stops the clock. Looks like the referee is going to put more time on the clock.
Hayes called timeout.
And it looks like they have adjusted it to 3:31. Meanwhile, it'll be a 3rd down upcoming. So a couple of big plays coming up here for Stepinac. Official said 3:31, but the scoreboard clock says 3:33, but we're going to go with 3:31. And here is Carino looking to throw. He fires. It is nearly intercepted. Broke it up. One of the still photographers was wiped out on the sideline, but he appears to be okay.
Not only is it warm up here, Lou, but it is safe as well. Hopefully he's okay. Carino really tried to force it in there, taking a shot to Harris near the goal line, and that helps out Cardinal Hayes. That incompletion stops the clock. Cardinals didn't have to use a timeout after 3rd down. This would be a 38-yard field goal attempt, especially with the swirling winds a bit outside of Nate Henderson's range, so the offense stays on the field.
Huge play here. 4th down and about 7. And now Stepinac calls timeout. So they want to talk about this play call on 4th and 7. Failure to pick up the first down would give the ball back to Hayes. And remember, the Cardinals are trailing by just 4, so a touchdown would put them ahead. But a conversion on this 4th down could really put Hayes in serious trouble. Stepinac would be inside the 15-yard line with the first down. The Crusaders trying to hang on here. They have a 4-point lead, trying to win back-to-back championships.
The go-to man all season has been Sean Harris, especially on 3rd and 4th down. He's going to be in a bunch formation with 2 other wide receivers bottom of the screen.
Here's Carino looking to throw. He fires. It is caught by Harris. He makes the catch at the 11-yard line.
He's short. He is marked short.
It is a first down at the 11.
Never mind.
What a catch by Harris. Kept his concentration, and a beautiful throw by Carino. It is a first down at the 11.
Beg your pardon, that was the target. Got his feet in.
And the handoff to Wise, who rumbles into the end zone. Touchdown. But there's a flag down at the 9-yard line. Penalty flag down, and the initial indication is holding against Stepinac, which will wipe that touchdown off the board.
I thought on the 4th down play that Sean Harris needed the 9 and caught it there, but came back and was knocked out of bounds at the 11. And that's where he was marked, but it was enough for the first down. But what a conversion and what a job. Carino to Harris. And this offensive line, which has opened up a few holes as Malik Grant is back on the field. A look at Harris lining up to the left side of the formation. They've done a bit better in the 4th quarter as this offense has now scored on 3 straight drives.
First and 20 at the 21-yard line. Give to Wise again. He's got a lot of room to rumble, and he takes it down inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. C.J. Wise with a couple of big runs here in this 4th quarter.
So Joey Carino is not only eyeing the scoreboard, but he is taking a look at the back judge, and that is the official who is keeping the play clock. Once the hand goes up in the air, that's 10 seconds to go on the play clock, and then he starts counting off the final 5.
And a give again to Wise. Takes it inside the 10.
Reset the clock one more time as Cardinal Hayes called timeout.
And they push it back up to 2:17. It'll be a 3rd down upcoming. 3rd down and about 7. Stepinac can pick up a first down at the 1-yard line.
You know, it's amazing to think that in 2014, Stepinac ended a 59-year drought of being the AAA champion or the league champion, the overall. And to think they backed that up in 15 with a title, a championship game appearance in 16, reclaiming the championship last year by beating St. Anthony's, and now just minutes away from going back-to-back for the second time in 5 seasons. I think Mike O'Donnell is being true and honest when he says in some ways he couldn't have imagined it going this way.
Carino rolling out, fires incomplete. Threw across his body that time, and it falls incomplete. So it brings up a 4th down.
Stopping the clock on the incompletion.
Now, this is an interesting decision here because a field goal would make it 25-18, would force Hayes to get a touchdown and kick the extra point.
At that point, they'd be going for 2.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be a 25-yard field goal attempt after Henderson just made one on the last possession of a similar length.
And now they call timeout.
And I think part of this stoppage is doing the math and figuring out the different scenarios of what happens if we go for it and don't convert? What happens if we get the touchdown? What if we try for the field goal here?
Well, you know, the point being that if you kick the field goal and it's good, you're up by 7, and it would force Hayes to convert some kind of an extra point, either a kick or a 2-point conversion.
Absolutely. And I think dangling the carrot here is either a first down or a touchdown and putting the game away here.
Right.
And ending it and beginning the celebration with 2:10 to go. The high percentage play is sending out your place kicker who just made a field goal from the same exact length to put you up by a touchdown. But I think part of the calculus that goes into it is, do we want to put the game on our offense or do we want to put the game on our defense? And I think it's a similar calculation that C.J. O'Neal made when he went for it on 4th down near midfield. He wanted to put the ball in the hands of Sofian Massoud. Does Stepinac want to put the ball in the hands, rather, of Joey Carino?
Mike O'Donnell's made his decision. They will go for it on 4th down. Here's Carino looking, fires, end zone, caught, touchdown. Sean Harris makes the grab, and that may have slammed the door on Cardinal Hayes.
What decision? Just find number 6. Sometimes it's just that simple. And boy, has Sean Harris showed up in these playoffs in a monster way. 8 playoff touchdowns, including 3 here tonight in the championship game.
Henderson in to kick the extra point. He can give Stepinac an 11-point lead. High snap, but the kick is on the way, and it is good. 29-18 Stepinac. And the Crusaders get a big touchdown here.
Find number 6, key in on him. 2 defenders on his back. He was well covered, but Sean Harris made the play from the slot right. Works his way back towards the sideline. Part of the resurgence for Stepinac mid-season, speaking with some coaches of both Stepinac and opposition, was just finding different ways to get number 6 the ball.
And Carino, what a throw on the run. A rifle shot right into the hands of Harris. Hit him right on the number 6.
Cardinal Hayes scored on the first play of the second quarter to go up 12-0. They have been outscored 29-6 since. All the momentum was on Cardinal Hayes' side. They outgained Stepinac in the first half. They ran 53 plays compared to just 13. Stepinac, in some ways, just looked completely listless. And yet they've now scored on 4 straight drives.
So the Cardinals have the football, 2:08 remaining here in the fourth quarter. But they are down by 2 scores. They're down 29-18. They would need 2 touchdowns. That young man there, Sofian Masood, has played a tremendous game. Only a junior. He'll be back next year for the Cardinals. C.J. O'Neill looking forward to that. He mentioned to us, he said, I can't even imagine what kind of senior season Masood is going to have. Tremendously talented player. Back to throw. Steps up in the pocket, delivers. That's incomplete. Again, felt the pressure. That's been a big key here in the second half. Masood did not feel any pressure in that first half, but Stepinac's pass rush has been on him here in half number 2. Stepinac had 9 sacks against Cardinal Hayes in their first meeting earlier this year. And it's been more of that here in the second half. Second and 10. Jalen Smith in motion. Masood looking to throw. He steps out of there, now being pursued, and just throws it out of bounds. Nobody open. It'll be 3rd and 10. Masood back to throw, fires, has a man wide open. Mike Escobar loses the ball, picked up by Stepinac. Here Richards picks it up for the Crusaders. Corey Richards
just took it away from Escobar. Corey Richards, what a play. It was a reception to Escobar, and the junior cornerback just took it away, ripping it away. Very similar to how Stepinac just ripped away this game from Cardinal Hayes, a team that was leading 12-6, 18-12, and it's been Stepinac since.
Oh, what a play by Richards.
17 unanswered points in the fourth quarter for the Crusaders.
And now the Crusaders in the victory formation.
Hayes without timeouts cannot stop this game. Second takeaway for the Crusaders defense. Mike O'Donnell went to Blessed Sacrament. He had a brother that went to Iona Prep. He had another brother that went to Cardinal Hayes. And back in the 67, 68 season thereabouts, Mike O'Donnell was a water boy for the Cardinals. His mother would dress him up in a red hoodie with paper mache feathers. Mike O'Donnell's connection to the Catholic League goes back decades. He's about to lead his Crusaders to their 4th AAA championship in the last 5 years.
In come-from-behind fashion, his team trailed 12-0 in the first half. A first half dominated by Cardinal Hayes. But Stepinac explosive here in the second half.
St. Francis of the Monsignor Martin division in Buffalo awaits. Not only is Stepinac going to be back-to-back CHSFL champs, but they'll play for a CHSAA state championship.
They may have to snap it just one more time. Let's see. Maybe not. Apparently not. 15 seconds. And the celebration begins. What a win for Archbishop Stepinac, coming back from behind to defeat Cardinal Hayes by the score of 29-18. Their second straight New York Catholic League AAA title. And a heartbreaking loss for Cardinal Hayes, who played a terrific first half. But Stepinac just too much here in half number 2. The coaches meet at midfield. Stepinac celebrates their championship. We'll be back to talk about the Crusaders' AAA title in just a few moments here on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Back at Mitchell Field, Stepinac celebrating their Catholic League AAA championship, defeating Cardinal Hayes 29-18. And a lot of exciting plays in this championship tilt. Let's take a look now at our News 12 Varsity play of the game.
A defense that gave up a couple hundred yards in the first half, could not get off the field on third downs throughout the game, and they come up with the game-sealing play. Corey Richards ripping the ball away, and the celebration began in earnest after this takeaway with under 2 minutes to go in the contest. That capped off a 17-0 fourth quarter for Stepinac. Can you believe that this was a team that lost 4 straight games in the middle of the season? They've now won 6 straight. Stepinac winning back-to-back Catholic League titles as the number 3 seed. They have been the team of November these last 5 years in the Catholic League.
The Crusaders now 7-4 on the season, and now, as you mentioned earlier, a chance to win the New York State title once again.
The opponent will be St. Francis. They won their first Monsignor Martin title in quite some time. The trophy going to Mike O'Donnell, 31-year head coach. 4th title in 5 seasons. He's modest. He's quick to hand it off to his players. And what a way to finish, Lou. They were down 12-0 at one point early in the second quarter. They were trailing entering the 4th, 18-12. In that 17-0 fourth quarter, Joey Carino, really a microcosm of his season coming of age in that fourth quarter. And as he has been all season long, Sean Harris, just an electrifying go-to player. When Stepinac needed a 4th down conversion, they went to Harris. When they needed a touchdown late in the game, they spotted number 6. 8 touchdowns in 3 weeks in the playoffs as Stepinac took down Christ the King, their arch rival Iona Prep, and they sealed the deal tonight at Mitchell Field against Cardinal Hayes.
David, as you mentioned, one of the keys to this Stepinac team is the fact that they have so many contributors to their success. For the most part, Cardinal Hayes kept Malik Grant in check tonight, but other players stepped up, and Sean Harris certainly one of those players, and he contributed mightily to this championship game victory.
They sure did. You have to credit Cardinal Hayes, first of all, for the type of bounce-back season they had, how they recovered from starting in week 3 after being inactive the first 2 weeks, losing the first couple games of the year, suffering 3 losses by 3 points or less, and yet finding themselves and recovering and coming away with a huge victory on the road against Farrell, a team that they lost to during the regular season. A big road victory in the semifinals against St. Anthony's, a Friars team that they lost to. Well, they lost to Stepinac in the regular season, but they could not change the result today as the Crusaders are kings once again in the AAA.
Well, Amanda Puglisi standing by with our News 12 Varsity Player of the Game. Amanda?
And Lou, of course, it is Sean Harris. Sean, Coach O'Donnell told us at halftime that it was all about weathering the storm. What was the message that he said to you guys that really got you in gear?
He said, just finish the job. We came in a little flat, so we went to the locker room, changed a couple game plans, and we turned it around, and we came out with the victory.
When you think about this entire season and the resiliency that you guys have had to go through, I mean, losing 4 games, which is unheard of, and having to deal with the slow start, I mean, what does that say about this championship team?
It feels way better than last year's championship, I tell you that. The adversity we went through, and it all just came out in the perfect ending. It's just perfect.
You have been the go-to guy, but what has it been like watching Joey Carino, watching your quarterback really develop and lead this team to another title?
Joey, one thing about Joey, he gets better every game, and he just impressed me every game. He's building. He's going to be a problem next year for the league.
Back-to-back sounds good to you?
Yes, I think so.
All right, Sean, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back up to you.
All right, Sean Harris, huge game for the Crusaders of Stepinac here on the News 12 Varsity Game of the Week. Brought to you by, once again, Sloman Shield. Shield your home with the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Joey Carino, 3 more touchdowns this week during the 6-game winning streak. 14 touchdowns, just 1 interception. The junior came of age, adding his name to the list of Stepinac quarterbacks to win titles.
So that'll do it here from Mitchell Field. Big win for Archbishop Stepinac. They win back-to-back AAA titles as they defeat Cardinal Hayes by the score of 29-18. For David Resnick, Amanda Puglisi, our entire News 12 varsity team who did such a magnificent job all season long. I'm Lou Brogno saying thanks for joining us. Once again, your final score, Archbishop Stepinac 29, Cardinal Hayes 18. The Crusaders are your 2018 Catholic League AAA champions for the 2nd time in a row. Once again, shield your home with the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.